Jack stood at the edge of the landing bay, his arms crossed, eyes fixed on the strange silver ship that had just arrived. It shimmered like water under the lights, and its design was nothing like the ships that usually docked at Station 9. Everyone else kept their distance. The air felt cold and heavy, filled with whispers. "This is no normal visitor," one of the engineers murmured. Jack said nothing. Didn't like gossip, but even he felt uneasy. The ship's ramp lowered. Slowly, a group of tall alien guards stepped out first. They wore dark armor and carried strange weapons no one recognized. Then she appeared. Princess Lyra. Her presence made the whole station go silent. She was covered from head to toe in royal robes, her face hidden behind a shining silver veil. No one could see her expression, not even her eyes. Only her soft, slender hands showed, clasped together tightly as she walked. The guards flanked her like shadows. Jack's boss, Commander Harrow, approached carefully and bowed deeply. "Welcome, Princess Lyra. We are honored." But Lyra didn't speak. Only nodded, her hidden gaze scanning the crew. Her movements were graceful but cold, like a statue that had come to life. A strange feeling crept into Jack's chest, a mix of curiosity and unease. Why did she look so sad beneath that veil? The whispers grew louder behind him. "They say her people never show their faces," one man whispered, "and anyone who tries to bond with them dies," said another. The guards led the princess toward the private quarters prepared for her. Jack kept watching until she disappeared into the hall. But something strange happened. Just before she passed the door, she stopped. For a moment, her head turned slightly, and it felt like she was looking straight at Jack, even through the veil. Then she was gone. That night, the station felt different. The crew stayed quiet, afraid. Jack couldn't sleep. The image of the princess standing there, silent and veiled, kept playing in his mind. He sat on his bunk, staring at the ceiling, wondering why she had come. What did she want? Why was she alone? At midnight, he decided to walk. The halls were empty and dark. When he reached the docking bay again, he heard something that stopped him in his tracks, a soft, gentle sound. It was crying. He followed the sound carefully, step by step, until he reached the corner of the bay. There, sitting alone beside her silver ship, was Princess Lyra. Her head was lowered, her shoulders shaking. Even with her face hidden, her sadness was clear. Jack froze. No one had ever seen a princess cry. Should he say something? Would he get in trouble? He looked around, no guards, no crew. He took a breath and stepped forward. "Princess, are you all right?" he asked quietly. The crying stopped. Slowly, she lifted her head and turned toward him. The silver veil shimmered in the dim light. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, in a voice so soft it was almost a whisper, she spoke. "No one dares to speak to me. Why do you?" Jack blinked, surprised. I don't know. You seem lonely." Her voice trembled. "I am. My people sent me here. I must bond with someone before the next cycle ends, or they will take me back." Jack frowned. "Bond? What kind of bond?" She lowered her head again. "A life bond. A union. But no one dares. They all fear me. They fear what's behind this veil." The words hit Jack like a cold wind. He remembered the whispers, the warnings, the stories of death and curses. He felt a chill, but at the same time, his heart felt heavy for her. "Why do you wear the veil?" he asked gently. She hesitated. "'Cause if you see my face, you will be bound forever, or doomed. My people believe it is a curse, or a gift. No one has ever dared to bond without seeing me first." Jack knelt beside her, his curiosity stronger than his fear. "Why me? Why talk to me?" Princess Lyra finally looked at him fully, the veil glinting between them. "'Cause you did not look away. You did not run. You stayed." The silence stretched between them, deep and heavy, hook-ending. Then she whispered, "Will you be the one, human? Will you bond with me, without ever seeing my face?" Jack couldn't sleep after meeting Princess Lyra in the docking bay. Her question kept echoing in his mind. "Will you bond with me, without ever seeing my face?" No one on the station had ever come so close to speaking with her. Most crew members avoided her halls completely. Fear was everywhere. The next morning, Jack returned to his duties, but the whole station felt different. Crew members whispered as he passed. They had seen him near her last night. Some looked at him with pity. Others with fear. Commander Harrow called Jack to his office. The commander looked tired and serious. "Jack," he said, "I don't know what happened last night, but I warn you, this is dangerous. No human has ever bonded with her kind. If you agree, it could cost you your life." Jack stayed silent, thinking about Lyra's sad voice. "Why is she here, Commander? Why now?" Harrow sighed. "Her people need a bond for peace, but no one dares. And they say the bonding cannot happen unless the partner truly accepts her. Without seeing her face, that's why everyone refuses. No one trusts her." Jack felt a strange pull in his heart. She had asked him why. Later that day, while checking equipment near the storage bays, Jack heard a voice behind him. It was soft, but strong. "Human, Jack." He turned quickly. Princess Lyra was standing there alone, no guards around her. Her silver veil still hid her face. But today she wore a deep blue robe that shimmered with strange symbols. "You shouldn't walk alone," Jack said. "People are afraid." Her head tilted slightly. "They fear what they don't understand. That is why I asked you." Jack frowned. "Why me?" She stepped closer. "You listened. No one else does. My people need this bond, but they want someone brave. Someone willing to trust what cannot be seen." Jack swallowed hard. "But how can I trust what I don't understand?" Her voice was calm but sad. That is what trust truly is. Suspense. Then she raised a small silver box in her hands. Inside was a thin, glowing thread, pulsing with soft blue light. "This is the bonding thread," she said. "If you take this, you accept the bond. But there is a rule. You must do it without ever asking to see my face. If you break that rule, the bond will fail, and both of us will suffer." Jack stared at the glowing thread. It was beautiful, yet terrifying. Behind him, he felt the eyes of the crew watching from the shadows. Everyone was waiting. If he accepted, he would become the first human to bond with one of her kind. Or he could be walking straight into a deadly trap. Lyra held out the box carefully. "The choice is yours, Jack. No one can force this." Hook ending. Jack took a slow breath. His hand moved toward the glowing thread. But before he could touch it, a loud alarm rang through the station. An emergency message flashed on the walls. "Warning, security breach near Princess Lyra's quarters." Jack froze. Something else was happening. Something much more dangerous than anyone had expected. The alarm echoed through the halls of Station 9. Red lights flashed across the walls, and loudspeakers repeated the warning. "Security breach near Princess Lyra's quarters." Jack and Lyra both turned quickly. The glowing bonding thread was still in her hands, but now it pulsed faster, as if it sensed danger. "Stay close," Jack said, but Lyra shook her head gently. "No, they are coming for me." Jack's mind raced. Would dare attack a royal guest on an Alliance station. But deep inside he already knew, not everyone wanted peace. Before he could speak again, two of Lyra's own guards appeared from the shadows. But something was wrong. Their armor was scratched, and their eyes glowed faintly red. They didn't look like protectors anymore. One of them stepped forward. "Princess, come with us. Now." Lyra's voice was calm but firm. "You are not my true guards." Jack moved between them, raising his hands. "What's going on? Who are you really?" The guard ignored Jack and reached for Lyra. Without thinking, Jack grabbed a heavy metal rod from the floor and swung it hard. The rod cracked against the guard's arm, sending sparks flying. The guard hissed but didn't fall. Lyra whispered urgently, "Jack, listen to me. This is part of the test. This is my people's way. If you wish to bond, you must protect me without knowing who your enemies are." Jack's heart pounded. "They're testing me with an attack." She nodded slowly. "It is not just a test of bravery. It is a test of trust. If you fail now, it will declare me unworthy and take me away forever." The guard stepped closer. Jack tightened his grip on the rod. The choice was clear. Fight for her without knowing why. Trust her without ever seeing her true face. He took a deep breath and lunged forward. The first guard blocked his swing but underestimated Jack's speed. Jack ducked low and kicked the guard's leg, knocking him off balance. The second guard rushed at Jack, but Lyra raised her hand and spoke in a strange, soft alien language. The second guard froze as if trapped by her words. Jack used the moment to shove the first guard back against the wall. The room fell silent. The guards retreated slowly, disappearing into the shadows. Jack turned to Lyra, breathing hard. "What was that?" he asked. She looked at him quietly. "Test. And you passed the first one?" Jack felt sweat on his face. "First one. There are more." Lyra's voice was calm, but sad. "Many more. The bonding is not just about feelings. It is about trust, strength, and loyalty. If you want this bond, you must face every trial." Without seeing my face, Jack wiped his hands. His mind was spinning. How many trials? Lyra lowered her head. 3 trials before the bond is complete. You have passed the first. But the second will be even harder. Bookended. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shook. A voice echoed through hidden speakers. "Human Jack, your next trial begins now." Jack froze. A door opened in the wall behind Lyra, and inside was complete darkness. Jack stared at the dark doorway that had just opened behind Lyra. Inside was nothing but shadow. A cold wind seemed to blow from it, carrying a strange, sharp smell like metal and dust. Princess Lyra's voice broke the silence. "This is your second trial, the trial of darkness." Jack swallowed hard. "What's in there?" She shook her head. "Even I do not know. It is different for every bond seeker. Inside, you will face your greatest fear." "Alone," Jack hesitated. Fear. What did that mean? He had never trained for something like this. Behind him, the station crew gathered in silence. None of them dared to speak. None of them dared to help. Lyra stepped close and handed Jack a small stone that glowed softly in her palm. "Take this. It will guide your way, but it cannot protect you." Her fingers brushed his hand gently. "Jack, if you leave now, you can walk away unharmed. But if you step into that darkness, you must see it through to the end. There is no turning back." Jack took a deep breath. He could feel dozens of eyes watching him, the whispers about her curse, her mystery, her veil. All of it rushed through his mind, but he remembered her tears. He remembered that she chose to speak to him, not anyone else, without another word. Jack stepped into the darkness. The door slid shut behind him with a loud hiss. Inside, the air was heavy and thick. The stone in his hand gave off a weak blue glow, just enough to see a few steps ahead. Jack moved slowly. The walls around him felt rough, like stone. Strange whispers filled the air, voices he could almost recognize. Then he heard a voice that froze his blood. His own voice. "You cannot trust her," it said. Jack spun around, but there was no one there. Then another voice came, softer and crueler. His mother's voice from long ago. "She hides her face for a reason, Jack. She is dangerous. She will betray you." Jack held the stone tightly, forcing himself forward. The air grew colder. The floor felt uneven under his boots. Suddenly, shapes appeared in the shadows. Dark figures with glowing eyes. They looked like station crew, but their faces were twisted, angry, afraid. "Why would you trust her?" they asked together. "She is not one of us. She will destroy you." Jack's heart pounded. He wanted to run. He wanted to shout back. But something inside told him. This was exactly what the trial wanted to break him. To fill him with doubt. He gritted his teeth and kept walking. At last, a small door appeared ahead, glowing faintly. Just as he reached for it, one last figure stepped out of the shadows. It was Princess Lyra herself. But this Lyra was different. She wore no veil. Her face, It was horrifying, twisted, and monstrous. Her eyes glowed red and her mouth was full of sharp, jagged teeth. "Is this what you wish to bond with, Jack?" the fake Lyra hissed. "A monster?" Jack's hand trembled on the stone. This was the test. Could he walk forward, even now, without demanding to see her real face? He trusts the princess, even after seeing this terrifying image. He closed his eyes and said quietly, "You are not her." The dark figure snarled, but did not attack. It simply faded into the shadows. Jack reached out and opened the door. A bright light blinded him for a moment, and when he stepped through, he found himself back on the station, standing in front of the real Princess Lyra. The crew gasped. Lyra's head lowered slightly. "You faced your fear," she whispered. "You trusted me." Even in the darkness, Jack's heart was still racing. That was hard. She smiled behind her veil. He could hear it in her voice. "One trial remains, Jack. The final test." Hook ending. Suddenly, Commander Harrow stepped forward, looking pale and angry. "The final test begins now," he said. "Jack, you must prove your loyalty, turning against your own people." Commander Harrow's voice was cold and sharp. "Jack, you must prove your loyalty by turning against your own people." Jack froze. The crew standing nearby looked just as shocked as he did. Whispers spread through them like wildfire. "Turn against us? What kind of test is this?" Princess Lyra stepped forward quickly. "Commander, this is not part of the agreement." But Harrow ignored her. His eyes locked onto Jack's. "Your final test is simple, Jack. If you truly trust her, if you're willing to bond without ever seeing her face, then you must show that trust by rejecting everything you know, your crew, your station, even your own people." Jack's heart pounded in his chest. He felt trapped between two worlds. The crew looked at him with suspicion now, even the ones he called friends, took a step back. Was this really part of the trial? Or was something darker happening? Lyra's voice was soft but urgent. "Jack, this was not planned. Someone is twisting the trial. Someone wants this bond to fail." Jack looked into her veiled face. He couldn't see her expression, but he felt her fear. And suddenly, he understood. This wasn't a test for him anymore. It was a trap for her. The guards who had attacked him before. The false voices in the trial of darkness. The crew's fear. Someone wanted to destroy the bond, because the bond would give Lyra power, freedom. But Jack's choice was still real. Could he trust her completely, even when his own people demanded otherwise? He took a step forward and faced Commander Harrow. "I won't betray my people," he said firmly. The commander smirked. "Then you fail." But Jack raised his hand. "I won't betray them. But I also won't betray her. You're trying to force a choice that isn't real." The room went silent. Princess Lyra spoke next, her voice shaking. "This is the real test, isn't it? To see if a human can think for himself and trust what he feels." The glowing thread still pulsed softly in her hand. Jack reached out and took it. The crew gasped, even without knowing everything. Without seeing her face, Jack accepted the bond. At that moment, the lights flickered, and something unexpected happened. "Commander." Harrow's form shimmered, then collapsed. In his place stood one of the alien guards from before, a spy. Princess Lyra turned to Jack quickly. "You passed, Jack. You saw the truth." "Without seeing my face?" "That is what no one else dared to do." Jack stared at her. His heart was racing but steady now. Hook ending. Lyra stepped closer and whispered, so only he could hear. "One last step remains, Jack. And when you complete it, I will finally lift the veil. But only for you." Asterisk, the room was still shaking from the reveal. The false commander was a spy all along. The crew stood in stunned silence, some frightened, others ashamed for doubting Jack. But Jack's focus stayed on Princess Lyra. She held the glowing thread tightly, her slender fingers trembling. Lyra's voice was soft but firm. "Jack, you passed the first two trials. Now comes the final one, the one only you can face. Jack took a step closer. I thought I just passed it by exposing the spy. Lyra shook her head slowly. The real final test is not about the enemy. It's about trust. Deep trust. She turned away and began to walk toward her royal quarters. Follow me, Jack. You must choose freely. No one can force you. Jack hesitated for a heartbeat, then followed her. The guards who remained loyal bowed their heads as they passed. The crew made way but avoided Jack's gaze. Inside her private chamber, the walls shimmered with silver light. Strange symbols glowed, faintly, and the air smelled of rare flowers. In the center stood a small round table, and on it sat a second silver box. Lyra stopped beside it. This box holds the veil itself, Jack. Jack's brow furrowed. The veil? She nodded. If you open it, you will see my true face. The final test is simple, but dangerous. Jack stepped forward cautiously. Dangerous how? Hands trembled slightly. If you open it because you doubt me, because you need to know what I look like, the bond will fail. But if you leave it closed, if you accept me as I am, unseen, the bond will complete. Stared at the box. It seemed so harmless, but it was heavier than any weight he'd carried before in his mind. Doubt whispered, what if she is hiding something terrible? What if she looks monstrous? But another voice, quiet and true, spoke in his heart. You have trusted her this far, because of who she is, not what she looks like. Lyra's voice cracked softly. You can leave any time, Jack. No one will blame you. Jack reached out slowly, his fingers hovering over the box. Suspense. Then he pulled his hand back. No, he said firmly. I don't need to open it. Lyra gasped quietly. Jack stepped back and looked directly at her hidden face. You're more than a face behind a veil. I accept you as you are, without knowing what's behind it. A strange silence filled the room, deep and peaceful. Then the glowing thread in her hand flared bright blue and wrapped itself gently. Around Jack's wrist, the bond was complete. Hook ending. And at that moment, Princess Lyra lifted her veil. But only for Jack. The audience watching outside never saw what Jack saw. But his smile said everything. You are beautiful. He whispered. Jack's quiet words, you are beautiful, hung in the air like a soft echo, even though no one else saw Princess Lyra's face. They saw his reaction, and that was enough. The fear and rumors that had poisoned the station's halls slowly began to fade. The bond thread around Jack's wrist glowed brighter, becoming a warm blue band that pulsed with life. It was a symbol of a connection that no one thought possible. A human and an alien princess, bonded without doubt, without demands, and without needing to see the truth hidden behind a veil. Lyra lowered her veil again, this time not out of duty or fear, but because she chose to keep her face private for everyone else. Only Jack had earned her trust, and only he would know. The alien guards, the true loyal ones, stepped forward and knelt before Jack and Lyra. The station. Commander's seat, now empty after the spy was exposed, was offered to Jack. Stay, one crew member said. You have proven yourself more than any of us. But Jack shook his head. He turned to Lyra. What happens now? Lyra's voice was gentle, almost shy. Now we leave this place together. A new life. You have bonded with me. You are part of my people? Jack smiled softly. Then let's go. Hand in hand, they walked back to the silver ship. The doors closed behind them with a soft hum. As the engines warmed, the crew gathered quietly to watch them depart, even though many questions remained about her face. Her people, the nature of their bond, the crew felt something different now. Hope, for the first time, a human had. Done what no one else dared. Trust completely. Without needing proof, in the control room of the silver ship, Jack sat beside Lyra. The stars stretched out before them as they left the station far behind. For a long time, they said nothing. Words were no longer needed. Finally, Jack leaned closer. Why did you choose me, Lyra? from all the people in the galaxy. Why me? Lyra lifted her veil once more, just for him, and smiled softly. Because she whispered, "You looked at me and did not demand to see." Hook ending. As they disappeared into the stars, a single message arrived at the station. The bond is complete. A new era begins.